Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening to our beloved lecturer that is Sir Muhammad Ibrahim Hai. Today our group are gonna present the topic of local government, which we have choose the agency that is widely known in Malaysia, that is Agensi Anti Dadah Kebangsaan Aadk. So now without wasting our time, let's us introduce first our presenter of this project presentation. So now let us introduce our first presenter. First, we have Auni Akilah binti Usaini with matrix number of 2020143405. Next, we have Nur Amira Natasha binti Hafizal with matrix number of 2020111077. Third, we have Karin Jazlina binti Muhammad Khalid alias Abdul Majid with matrix number of 2020556585. Next, we have Muhammad Faiz bin Nasharuddin with matrix number of 2020737475. And lastly, we have Muhammad Imir Iskandar bin Muhammad Amran with matrix numbers of 2020503589. So now, let us go to our first introduction of the Agensi Anti Dadah Kebangsaan.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day. My name is Nur Amira Natasha binti Hafizal and I'm from class 8. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the National Anti-Drug Agency, or we call it as Aadk. So Aadk was established on February 17, 1996 by combining the Anti-Drug Task Force PPAD and the Treatment and Rehabilitation Division BRPD as an organization under the Ministry of Home Affairs KDN. So the National Anti-Drug Agency served as the secretary to the National Drug Council (MDK), which is served as chairman by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and is responsible for the entire of the country's anti-drug efforts. The National Anti-Drug Agency (Aadk), as a major agency in combating drug problems, is constantly aiming to provide the best service in terms of treatment and rehabilitation, prevention and enforcement. So Aadk is also contributing to the government's effort to achieve the goal of a drug-free Malaysia. So in accordance with Aadk's visions and objective, Aadk is very devoted to providing services that are related to the treatment, medicine and rehabilitation, education and prevention, as well as enforcement and safety to its customers in a more efficient and effective manner. The government's first attempt to combat the drug problem was to use the Dangerous Drug Act of 1952 as a legal tool. So the law's implementation, on the other hand, was handled individually by the necessary government authority.
The initiative of Aadk is by developing the motivational seminars or talks to the community. For the example is the Negeri Sembilan Information Department with collaboration. Aadk has developed the Jambah Minda program to improve the current situation, which means they invited a panel from Aadk to talk about teenagers are the future of the country and must be kept away from unprofitable activities such as drug dealing. Improve good governance in combating drug use and consumption. Aadk has collaborated with the Integrity by organizing a breakfast stop program at the Aadk headquarters to share experiences and views on issues related to effort to improve good governance in combating drug use and consumption. It was held to provide more comprehensive exposure to Aadk citizens regarding the culture and the values of integrity, besides giving awareness of the great responsibilities borne as civil servants as the trust of the people at the country. Perform surprise raids as in OP Selamat operation. 120 out of 144 individuals were confirmed positive in OP Selamat by the National Anti-Drug Agency Aadk at several locations in the capital, which means Aadk successfully arrested several drug addicts. Establish the volunteer Aadk squad. For example, Kuantan Aadk squad in collaboration with the Pahang Ukhuwah and Silaturahim Welfare Association, which was launched at 13 May 2018. The purpose is they will be the eyes and ears of AADK to combat the symptom of addiction and drug trafficking among the residents in the area.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Alfred Ismail Shurdin from class N4AM1104A. We present to you about contribution of AADK towards society and community, agency, and our country. Firstly, towards society and community. The employees of the national anti-drug agencies must not only teach people about living a drug-free lifestyle. The community may also participate in living this way of life and spreading it into the rest of their neighborhood. AADK is focusing on the community as well as rehabilitation within the community itself. AADK is the process of assisting someone in quitting drugs once they have been addicted to them. Individuals with drugs issue should get follow-up treatment as well as additional assistance tailored to their specific requirements throughout the recovery phase. As a result, it is critical that the addict's recovery can be enforced not just while he or she is in treatment and medication, but also outside of it. Following that, our community get more exposure and understanding the awareness of drug risks. Second, contributions towards their agencies. Among the contribution of AADK in their agencies itself are develop fundamental service and support that achieve international standards and certification by fostering common values and best practice among AADK people. AADK also developed a blueprint paper that will serve as the primary guide for all at the nation state and district levels. Next, plan and implement international cooperation strategies and programs in accordance with the ASEAN Declaration agreements and international convention agreements that Malaysia has entered into or signed at the ASEAN and global levels. In addition, AADK also mobilized community network using comprehensive community-based initiative and coordinate the efforts to accomplish the National Blue Ocean Strategies or NBOS vision of a drug-free Malaysian through government agencies, civil society, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and the commercial sector. Finally, establishment an AADK service delivery system in accordance with the public service system objective in terms of providing quality service and satisfying the requirements and expectations of customers, the major target group, and to the general public. Lastly, contribution AADK towards the country. AADK also raised and made and recommended that the Drugs-Related Act be enforced and carried out and give effect to the provision of the Act Dangerous Drugs 1952, except Section 457, Subsection 9(1)(a), Section 11, Subsection 12(1), Section 16 and 17. This also lead to the enforcement, administer, carry out, and give effect to the provision of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1988, prevent and prohibit illicit drug trafficking and drug addiction, as well as provide help in the case of major drug overdose demand from a foreign country as defined by the Acts of Mutual Assistance in Criminal Cases Act of 2002. AADK also serve an example in the country, educating the public about the danger of drug usage and gaining public support in the fight against it. AADK also play a critical role in advising minister of preventative and public health strategies, drug misuse, treatment and rehabilitation, as well as particular preventative measure and property confiscation are all discussed. Generally, execute any additional responsibility related to the fight against drugs and anything else related to it. Thank you.
So after we all have go through to the introduction of Aadk, initiative of the agency and the contribution of Aadk towards country, society and the agency itself, now let us go through to the challenges faced by the Aadk towards making the agency more advanced in the future, in turn can help our beloved country free from drugs and addicts. Here, there are 6 main challenges that Aadk faces in the agency. First is the culture towards first-class mindset. Second is about new addicts and repeat. Aadk's program's effectiveness, the appearance of the precursor, and development of new drugs. Next is perception and stigma towards the agency, and lastly, the integrity of the agency. The first main challenges that Aadk faces is the culture towards first-class mindset. First-class-minded society refers to a society that is knowledgeable, competitive, has an excellent work culture, have integrity, and have moral strength. In addition, first-class-minded people also know how to appreciate the culture, arts, and heritage, as well as the history of its country, nation, and religion. The basis of the effort to cultivate first-class minds is based on the ability to increase knowledge, in turn, drives their creativity and innovation. Mastery of science and high knowledge will produce first-class-minded human capital capable of helping accelerate again all the plans and efforts made by the government to develop the country in various fields without neglecting the spiritual aspect. First-class-minded Aadk citizens are those who always generate minds through 4 main characteristics, that is, self-awareness, curiosity, focus, and initiative. In order to achieve that culture, Aadk needs to ensure that its officers have superior leadership qualities, competent, have high knowledge, have integrity, and have a safety mindset and strategy. However, these are the challenges that Aadk face to help the country to have a great-minded society in the future. Now let us go through to the next challenges, that is new addicts and repeats. One of the major problems and challenges faced by the Aadk is to mobilize machinery. Dealing with drug problems is associated with a high rate of relapsing addiction. Theoretically, when more addicts receive treatment and rehabilitation services, the number of re-addicts decreases, but the reality is the contrary. Despite the fact that addicts have attended rehabilitative treatment programs, the majority of them were found to be unable to sustain a drug-free lifestyle after being discharged from a recovery center. Relapse is claimed to be initiated by the creation of an extended crisis, such as underestimating a situation, feeling dejected, weak, and failing to prepare for the future, believing that nothing can be done, and acting immaturely. Individuals who relapse also have confused, notices, and overreact to the symptoms of not being able to think clearly, not being able to regulate feelings and emotions, having problems remembering things, feeling confused, being unable to handle tension, and becoming irritated. The third challenges faced by Aadk is the Aadk's program's effectiveness. The success of the programs undertaken is one of the issues faced by the National Anti-Drug Agency for prevention, enforcement, treatment, and rehabilitation. Every program must adhere to evidence-based international standards. Aadk always implements a tracer study or program effectiveness study to determine the requirements and desires of stakeholders and the customers of Aadk. Aadk must also find and diversify preventative and treatment strategies in order to have a complete and effective influence on the target population. Next challenges faced by the Aadk is the appearance of the precursor and the development of the new drugs. The globe is currently facing the dilemma of the introduction of new medications in this era of globalization. The majority of the medications on the market are legal, and this is a very concerning scenario. The development of these new medications could not be halted either. Pharmaceuticals on the market, these new drugs are referred to as designer drugs, legal highs, and herbal highs. By identifying the substance, UNODC has given it a specific name, that is new psychoactive substance, that is NPS. This new drug, also known as a novel psychoactive substance, that is NPS, is a psychoactive chemical that has been misused but is not yet classified as a harmful drug according to current trends. According to the legislation, one of the primary issues of Aadk is drug distribution and the emergence of new psychoactive substances owing to the enormous market in the period of globalization and the globe without these limits. Next challenges is about the perception and stigma towards the Aadk. Perception is described as the process through which a person composes, identifies and interprets information through the five senses, and the interpretation provides a picture of one's ideas and knowledge of the scenario being interpreted. Aadk is likewise not far behind but afflicted with perceptual problems. One of the negative attitudes that Aadk had to deal with was a lack of trust in the effectiveness of the rehabilitation program given. Furthermore, perspectives in which drug eradication is viewed solely as the responsibility of the Aadk, as well as the negative stigma of society against drug addicts, exists. In Malaysia, there are at least 3 misconceptions about the drug addiction problem. The first misconception is that addicts have no chance of rehabilitation. As a result, they don't require assistance. Furthermore, addicts are frequently associated with criminals. As a result, society perceives them as a garbage who must be imprisoned and punished. The third perceptual fallacy regarding drug addiction is when people of society always think that this is not our issue but the fault of others. If left alone, it is an issue that may get progressively difficult and is highly likely to infect our children and future generations. If Aadk's efforts to modify society's perspective of drug addiction are effective, community members will undoubtedly be eager to assist in dealing with this issue and in turn take back addicts who have recovered. Last but not least is the integrity of Aadk. Integrity may be described as integrity and excellence in terms of all positive elements such as honesty, trust, and accountability. The challenges associated with questions of integrity are not just the responsibility of Aadk. Despite this, with the empowering of the Aadk Integrity Unit, Aadk is taking proactive actions through the National Integrity Plan, that is G2, and current government laws. Aadk maintains an integrity culture by guaranteeing that system or work process leakage is continually improved over time. Space and opportunity for abuse of power, betrayal, behavior patterns and disciplinary problems, as well as unattractive attitudes and lifestyles that are negative and beyond their ability to, will always be constrained through different programs, actions, and the application and empowerment of all Aadk citizens.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kain dan senang ditolong kali. I'm from class N4AM1104A. My mention number 2020556585. The Aadk needs the help of the surrounding communities. Aadk is continually emphasizing the needs for drug discussion in school, institute of higher learning, companies and communities. The use of quantitative and qualitative approach will assist Aadk in understanding the target audience, shaping the direction of a program, and evaluating user attitudes, knowledge, and behavior. Benchmark for measuring the efficacy of a social marketing campaign include behavior change, consumer research, segmentation, and target groups. The appropriateness of the message with the target demographic as well as financial resource allocation limits determine the success or efficacy of a social campaign. Social marketers must first understand their target audience requirements, one's perception and behavior patterns. This is done to determine which activities should be carried out in order to meet the demands of the target groups and fit their interests. acquiring the essential knowledge and assessing possible behavior to be considered for adoption by the target group should be prioritized when making choice on target group behavior.
Okay, so there are a few recommendations from us to improve this agency. First is AADK need to strengthen the organization by give the people who are more qualified to lead the agency. So this is because more new and fresh ideas and new management can be applied in this agency. So if they do not take this matter seriously, there will be a lot of flaws in this organization. For example, bribery. So in the session card here, an employee of the AADK and another former employee of the agency were indicted separately on corruption charges for releasing a suspect in a drug case in 2016. So for the first charge, the accused is accused of accepting a bribe of worth 3,000 ringgit from the same individual in exchange for the release of a guy who tested positive for methamphetamine. In conjunction, AADK needs to outline the framework and preventative actions to address the issue and corruption issue, particularly inside the agency, in a more clear and effective manner. So they also have to improve the transparency in accountability through good governance, as well as encouraging the practice of pure values among the AADK citizens. So the anti-corruption agenda has been a national priority as the country strives to achieve the status of developed and high-income country. So other than that, AADK need to improve the overall efficiency of management services so that it could avoid conflicts of the interest, so the employment rotation and job matching are used. The management services can improve client control through strengthening competences, training, and skills. A competency framework is a method for firms to convey which behaviors are necessary, valued, acknowledged, and rewarded for certain job categories. It guarantees that all employees share a common knowledge of the organization's values and the superior performance behaviors that are required to them. Besides, AADK has to improve the prevention program implementation and information delivery. So on a regular basis, they also need to provide transparency pertaining to internal procedures, company selection, and supplies for the implementation of community preventative program. Other than that, they also can create an online customer feedback system for use at the district AADK office for quick and easy service quality assessment. So this really helps a lot to those who has information about drug crime and want to report it, but still wanted to stay as anonymous. So other than that, those who need to ask questions about their health or addiction problem and could get online consultation. To put it in a nutshell, the National Anti-Drug Agency AADK was clearly shows that their initiatives and efforts to prevent these people from getting involved in drug is progressing so much better. So AADK really contributes a lot for the society and our nation in order to maintain the harmonies and make our country free from drugs. Challenges and obstacles that they had to go through along the work sure that tough, as it is not easy to handle drug abuse or cases that related. So we also, as citizens, need to give a good cooperation to the agency for them to do their work easily by giving information about cases that are happening around us. Besides, AADK also has proof that they made a lot of achievement during the period of time. We should be thankful and grateful to them because without them, drug addictors and suppliers will be widespread around the country. Clearly, it is to assist local leadership in the planning, mobilization, and implementation of programs that aim at increasing community activities and improving aspects of safety and social well-being. May Aadk will continue to do their job responsibly and efficiently so that our country will be drug-free country in line with the motto Bersama Membasmi Dada. So that's all from us. Thank you.